Welcome to the Porsche Club Insider, your one stop for all things Porsche and PCA. Here's your host, Vu Gwyn, and the Insider crew.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 89. We are at PCA's national headquarters. Around the table, it's a full table today. We have Manny and Damon as usual, but we also have PCA's Porsche
Deer Hunter.
Deer Hunter.
Here.
We have two deer hunters
Technically
here.
Porsche Panorama editor, but also his new title is Deer Hunter. We'll get into that in a bit. Rob Sass, welcome back, my friend. And, of course, thank you, Robert, for being at the controls to make all this happen. So let's start with Deer Hunter.
Not. Too soon.
Too soon?
No.
Too soon.
So for those of you that aren't necessarily in more of the wilderness like we are, would we say we're wilderness?
I think deer's everywhere, aren't
You
there?
can hit
Not
a
in the
deer
city.
anywhere.
Not in
Not
San
in
Diego.
Not in San Diego.
You're telling me
Where did
there's no deer in San
Well,
Diego?
they're probably deer, but you don't see them.
I don't think you see them.
Yeah.
And so in the Maryland area, as well as in Michigan, when, winter kind of comes around, the deer season, they come crossing big major highways kind of regularly. So we play.
Right.
Remember that game Frogger? You probably don't even know the game Frogger.
I do. I played Frogger.
You played Frogger?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah, I played it
we
for
sometimes
real,
have to kind
right.
of dodge deer, but I think you unsuccessfully
There was
dodged.
no dodging this deer.
Yeah.
You know, he just jumped out.
Oh.
And,
For those of you
Ooh.
that are eating, don't watch YouTube right now.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
Or
gonna.
for those
I
of
thought
you
it was
who are-
this Halloween.
I thought it was up.
When you first showed it to me, I'm like, is that like Halloween?
I was like,
decoration?
man, Rob totally
Rob,
went into
what did the
Halloween
deer do to
theme.
you?
Yeah. Went above and beyond for Halloween.
So did you even break, or did it just
No,
hit?
there was
you
there
did-
was no. It just jumped out and wham. That was
Yeah.
it. So it was a classic deer hit. I mean, there was no avoiding it. There was no braking. You know, there were no.
We are happy to say that Ethan, the Greyhound, was okay. He was riding in the car.
Oh, he was in the car with you.
Yeah, he was in the car too.
So did it render your car undrivable after it hit?
No, well, yes and no. I mean,
see
the
some
car
coolant underneath.
The car
it.
was drivable. The radiator, they're
Don't tap the table.
plastic. So, so the radiator got knocked out, and it was leaking coolant. I mean, it was otherwise it was drivable.
How many hours
not
from
for very
home
long.
was this?
I mean, it was right there. So
there.
Oh, you're around the house.
Yeah.
He was going.
Oh.
He was coming here to.
I know.
yeah,
Oh, so hey, that worked out. At least you hit it nearby, and not 2 hours away from home.
Have you ever hit a deer?
right.
No, a deer has hit me. You want to? You
know
never
what?
heard
A
this
deer
story?
hit me too.
You've never heard this story? No, seriously, a deer hit me. I was in the
Were you driving
996.
so slow that it caught up to you?
I was in the 996. I saw the deer because I'm like on dark roads. I'm always looking for the little, bright eyes kind of in the brush. I literally saw it. I slowed down to like 10 miles an hour, and it proceeded to run into the side of my car.
Yeah,
So
it
it hit me. I didn't hit it.
Yeah.
And I was so mad because I slowed down,
Yeah.
but yet it still crossed and put its face into my fender. And, I was like, oh, I didn't stop, obviously.
Yeah.
So I was picking up on one of the kids. And I was like, oh, man, I can't believe this. I slowed down. It still hit me. I thought I was going to have to get, the fender repainted. And I was like, if I'm going to get the fender repainted, maybe I'll repaint the whole car. What color? Like, all this was going through my mind, which was like a 10-minute drive left to go pick up the kid. Of course, I get out, and all there was a snot mark going
Dang
down
it.
the side. No dents, no scratches. So
That's amazing.
But
Well,
that's
yeah,
the
I mean,
only
I was-
time I've had to do.
Yeah, I was lucky. It was like an hour away, and the real problem was getting Ethan into the rollback into the wrecker.
Oh,
Because he's it's too high up for him to jump. He's 75 pounds. I had to lift him into the tow truck.
oh, so you still had to get it towed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
you meant at least enough you could limp home.
No. Dude.
I was going to say, but coolant leak. That's sort of a BMW thing anyway, right? They'll still run.
Oh, that's not right. That's not right. Coolant
Yeah.
leaks in BMWs. Well, actually, E90s, E46, yeah, they do leak.
Well,
quite a bit.
the sad thing is, the cooling system, the expansion tank was new. The hoses were all new.
Oh.
Shocks, brakes. I mean,
So you'd done all that.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
Done
hate to
all
say
that
it, but when
valve
you,
cover.
I hate to say it, but when you show me the picture, I'm thinking the car's totaled.
I was kind of surprised because there's no sheet metal. The bags weren't blown. The hood's fine. The fender's fine. It's just basically it's a bumper cover, a radiator.
I tell you what,
radiator
if you
supports,
get
headlight.
it running again, and you leave all that blood on there, guarantee there would not be one bicyclist or pedestrian who will get near your car when you're driving.
Yeah,
down the road.
I mean,
Get it all fixed. Yeah, exactly.
It looks
Just
like
so
the
we-
Deathmobile from
just the
Animal
way it
House.
is. It's so good. You could just clear it, and that could be like the theme of your car.
I'm sure you'll
Right.
get pulled over like every morning because somebody's going to call the cops on you.
The funny part is it's on the passenger side, so it's really where pedestrians are when you drive by them. That's so
Yeah.
terrible.
So
Yeah.
I've never hit a live deer.
Neither have
So
I.
my car has the BMW I drive. My brother hit one when he bought it new originally. Then my father hit one, and my son hit one.
you've never hit one.
I've never hit a live one, and I say that because I'm following Roxanne home. She's in the Boxster. I'm in the BMW, and she clears. I guess because it's stock height on the Boxster. Same thing in the BMW, but she clears a
She
dead
went right
deer.
over it.
And I guess I was so close, I didn't have time to react.
Oh no.
And there's oncoming traffic, so I just hit it, but I was not low enough. And so it destroyed. That's one of the reasons why I have tape holding my front valence.
Is that what that is?
Because I
Oh,
destroyed
okay.
the front.
I thought you hit a curb.
No, I also hit a sawhorse.
A what? Like
A sawhorse was standing on the beltway.
a construction sawhorse?
Construction sawhorse, and I'm in the fast lane. I'm towing the 914 in my Suburban, and a guy in front of me moves out of the way,
Yeah.
and I'm same thing. I can't react quick enough, and because there's cars next to me, so I hit the sawhorse head on.
Yeah.
And my first thought was not the Suburban, but the 914.
Oh, man.
And I remember looking in my mirror, and it looked like someone dropped a million toothpicks behind me.
Oh no.
Because I see all this wood go flying, so I pulled over to the shoulder right away and looked, but 914 was untouched, and so was the Suburban.
Oh jeez.
But somebody must have lost a sawhorse in the middle of a. I was wondering, how am I going to tell the insurance company that I hit a sawhorse?
Yeah, when you showed me that picture, Rob, I'm like, that's probably $4,000 worth of work at least. And then I'm thinking most insurance companies, like 60% value of the car is gone.
So
Right.
how fast were you going when you hit it?
Probably 70, 75.
Ooh,
So that's crazy. So when I hit the
What
deer in
happened
my
with your
Golf,
TDI?
So in my TDI, I was in rural Pennsylvania, Jim Thorpe, and it was like 2 a.m. after a concert. I was heading out. Next day, I was going to be doing some work on a friend's dad's car, and deer just jumped out. And then I hit the brakes really hard, but there just wasn't enough room. So I was probably going at that point 45, 50 maybe. I
Maybe
wouldn't
your
even say
deer was
50.
bigger.
Maybe it was bigger, but my car was way, way more messed up than yours.
As I was telling Rob, I said, Demons we looked at and we're like, ugh, that's on the edge. But I didn't think yours was going to be tough.
Yeah. and
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
especially
crumpled.
since literally.
Do you know
there's-
yet?
I don't know officially yet, but I'm fairly certain that's what's going to happen. But the surprising thing is, if somebody buys it at a salvage auction, and
Yeah.
has any ability and time of their own, I think, if I had the time, I think I could fix the car for between $2,500 and $3,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could.
We
you
have
could.
a
You know, I mean,
996
it
water
needs
pump
no
that may
paintwork.
prove you wrong. Video.
So, I will tell you, remember when somebody rear-ended me, and I had that sort of Camry-like,
Yeah.
divot in my bumper. There was a 2-month wait just to get into a body shop
Yeah.
at that point. And I didn't want to drive around with the Camry bump
But
in
you
my
did.
car for that. No, I didn't.
I saw it in the back of your
Yeah, you saw it, but literally, it happened the week before, and days after you saw it, it was gone. But there's a company that sells pre-painted
Yeah.
body panels.
That's
Yeah.
what I saw was when you bought the bumper. Didn't you buy a bumper
Yeah,
for it?
I bought a bumper
pre-painted.
for it, and pre-painted. The match was perfect. It was $500,
Yeah.
and that was that. I mean, that would have been $2,000 at a body shop. So I was really happy with that. I absolutely recommend that.
Well, sorry to see that happen. I know
Yeah.
that's the last thing you need right now.
Right.
But yeah, at least you weren't hurt, and
True
neither
enough.
was Ethan. So
The dog wasn't hurt.
And you, like I said, you were close to home. Hey, just want to mention those of you that listened to our last podcast. We put up an offer for the newly released PCA Insider decals, and we got a ton of response. So if you did respond in the last podcast, we will let you know that, because some of them, we can tell your name, but obviously some of you have like screen names. So what we're going to do is just ask you to drop an email, your name and address to podcast@pca.org, and we will get the decals out to you. And for those of you that are hearing this for the first time, yes, the decals, if you'd like a pair, for the time being, we're going to send out a pair of Insider decals. So those of you that comment below, they're very high quality. Manny will tell you that they are a little tricky to get the backing off because they don't have that middle split, but it's not too bad. And it'd be really cool to see you guys rock the Insider decal.
I liked how Richard Strahoda, who's our national treasurer, said Trish wants them.
Yeah,
not
right.
him. He's asking for a friend.
Yeah, exactly. We've already sent him 4.
We know.
All right. So other than Deer Hunter, I guess you weren't with us at ÜnStock, and we'll get into that in a bit. So did you work on the car, or did you
I tried.
Just stayed on the work roles?
Yeah, no, I tried. Not super hard, but it's one of those things where my tools are too big. I have a bunch of wobble bolts or wobble extensions, and I needed a smaller quarter drive 6mm hex bit to fit into this little area where I can undo the AC compressor line, or the second of 2. There's still not enough room. And it's looking more and more like the way to go, just to make sure I don't break anything and to make the actual job of the compressor easier, is I'm going to be taking off the plenum and all that. So I'm back at maybe I'm just going to do the IPD plenum and all that, and it'll be my winter project. So, a little bit. It's a little disheartening, when you can't just fix something nice and easy and quick and you have to spend a bunch of money, but,
Yeah, no, I
It'll
totally
be good.
get it. But like I said, you out of everyone here at the table is the most patient about it, because you'll attack it for a couple hours and then you'll just walk away. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah, attack it for a couple hours, walk away, YouTube,
Yeah,
PlayStation 4, and then you go back.
yeah.
Right.
So we
Easy
had
to tell who the one is that doesn't have kids.
Yes, exactly.
that's what that has to do with it.
Yep.
There's a lot of times now, back in the day, I would get stuck on something and I would just kind of like try to plow through it, and it would just get worse and worse and worse. In the past decade, I've kind of learned that if I come to a roadblock, let's say it's a bolt or something like that, that's hard to get to or is not cooperating, I literally will just stop, go inside, have a cup of coffee, maybe watch YouTube or something like that, and then come back out to it. And more often than not, it's like, oh, here's the solution.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's worked for me lately, because I used to get so frustrated and to get so torqued up about something not working, and it just made matters worse if I kept trying.
It might not be the quick way, but it's the least stressful way. And we have garages where we we have more than one car. So, for me, fixing a car, if it were my only car, that would be stressful.
Yeah.
If there's a bolt that I can't get to or whatever, that it has to get done, right? But the Porsche, it can just sit. I'm a little worried because it hasn't run in a while, and I don't like not driving it.
Yeah.
It's not great for those cars.
So it's been since Parade? Since you got back from Parade, right?
July or August, I think, because I drove it a little bit before I realized how bad. I just didn't turn the AC on, and it was fine. But as soon as I saw how bad that compressor had, the clutch had failed. So July or August, I think it was, probably July.
Oh.
So it's been a while, but
How many miles are on it now?
almost 80. So
Really?
I've put almost 30,000 miles on it since 2019.
That's kind of early to lose an AC compressor.
It is. That's what people have told me.
Yeah.
Compressors don't break, and the clutches can, but the clutches aren't replaceable.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. I mean, I've done stuff to that car. I have the underdrive pulley. I have the lightweight flywheel. So, I mean, it's possible that maybe
underdrive pulley
makes it turn slower. But
I can't imagine going
can't
slower.
Yeah.
Unless the belt is maybe slightly tighter. I don't know.
I don't know. My car's got an
maybe-
underdrive pulley too, and I literally just replaced the compressor at like 200,000 miles.
So maybe it's putting some sort of stress on the compressor.
But
Well,
also,
no.
you've only owned the car,
200,000 miles, though,
but you got the car at that kind of mileage too. You
Sure,
haven't
but
put
it-
like
it-
100,000 miles on it.
No, but I mean, I've put 20 on it.
So when I talked to, if you remember, Steve and Tara Lau, who won at Parade's Autocross, and they have a 987. They were telling me that they've never seen a compressor go, and that's really strange. But you know, it is what it is.
Well, I mean, the good news is just do what I did. I bought a used compressor for $189. Problem
So
solved.
here's the funny part.
wouldn't do that.
OE
Neither would
Porsche,
I.
OE Porsche
Working
compressor
fine.
is $2,500.
Right.
The Denso, which I believe Denso makes it for Porsche, there's probably
Yeah.
some agreement where Denso gets the aftermarket money,
Yeah.
right? They sell it for $550, so I just bought the Denso, and
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
not
That's what I would
get
do.
used. I would get new. I probably would like a major part. I typically buy OEM. Just you're okay. So I've already lost the bet with you. I will say that I've lost the bet with you for the 996 because you've kept it longer.
Of
But
course, now the restaurant's probably out of business.
yeah, in most cases, in your case of buying a used one, it's probably makes sense because the car is going to be gone before that particular issue comes back around. But for like Manny and I, who keeps a car around for a long time, I would. And you keep a car for a long time.
I like
too.
keeping cars for
Usually,
a long time.
you only let go of cars because you get into an accident,
Get totaled or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
So yeah, getting new. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah. If I were in San Diego, AC delete, but I'm not. So
Yeah, I don't know, man.
yeah.
It gets hot in San
Well,
Diego too.
wherever it rains, that's where AC is helpful. Not because it helps with the defogging of the windshields.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, AC is being used in the wintertime in cars. People don't realize it, but
Right.
Right.
it's coming on automatically anyhow.
Ah,
The old cars, you'd have to
interesting.
manually turn it on. I remember, I think in my 924, it even says in the manual to use the air conditioning once a month to keep the seals
Yeah.
from drying out.
Yep, turn it
But
on once a
nowadays,
month.
everything is all climate control, so it'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the
a very
fogger
good point.
comes on.
Yeah.
A lot of cars in the Northeast where people don't use their air conditioning system, it goes bad. But people like in, say, Houston or something like that ususe it all year round, their air conditioning is always like ice cold, always works because it seals and the flow and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to need the AC, come
Yeah.
June in Maryland when the summer feels
Exactly.
like Bangkok.
Yeah.
But mentioning San Diego is a perfect segue because that's
Yep.
where a few of us, Manny, Bogdan, Melanie, and I, and a few thousand PCA members and some very cool cars, we were at HRE headquarters in actually Vista, California.
Hey, there's my uncle's
for
GT3.
ÜnStock. Yes, and he was actually there because he's parked there. I know he was there early, and he got some great photos before
wow.
the crowd came.
Oh, nice.
And
I dig the
yeah, so I'll
Bumblebee.
let
Yeah,
Manny
yeah.
kind of kick in the story of ÜnStock.
Well, first of all, I absolutely hate the San Diego airport.
Really? yeah. It's
You don't like flying into the... Is it still the
I
approach?
didn't say. Tell everyone about how
I
you
have
hate-
the microphone.
Is it still the
horrible.
super scary?
it's pretty bad.
You go like over
So
Balboa
they're under
Park
construction.
and like through downtown, and you can wave to the people in the Marriott.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
when you land. But
Yeah.
they're under construction. They're rebuilding Terminal
Oh.
1, I think.
I
and
see.
so, but the first time we encountered this was one of our site visits. No, actually, it was
He's been dying to tell the world.
it was work for
this.
Union because we had to connect through from San Jose down to San Diego. Then we were taking it direct to Baltimore, and you have to leave the one terminal, the security area, and go back security again.
Oh,
You
really?
do.
I
You
thought
do.
I was like a space cadet and wasn't
You
paying
do.
attention
Wow.
because
'Cause
I'm
there's
looking
no
and suddenly
connector.
I can see the sidewalk, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I
I'm
left the
out.
security area! Oh crap, I got to go through security again."
Manny
So-
accidentally crossed the border.
so I go back in line and get through again. I feel really stupid, So I get to the terminal, and Rob and Ron Gordon are there. And so I was saying, I'm not going to say anything about me and my stupidity leaving the security area.
Yeah.
And Rob Gordon comes up and he goes, "Can you believe that? You have to leave the security." He goes, "I bought 2 sodas." Not realizing that you had to leave security, so he had to throw the 2 sodas away.
Oh,
They're
he
not
had to go
cheap,
back in.
'cause he
Yeah,
bought them for the flight, not to drink
Yeah.
there.
the $20 soda.
Yeah. So, anyways, I look forward to San Diego for your new airport, but right now
It's a mess.
it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's and they have like this little terminal where they try to squeeze as many gates as possible
in a circle.
in a circle
Yeah.
with like one place that sells like drinks and water.
you know how
super crowded.
you know how
Crazy.
you know even the people that work there knows it's bad. You know what they do, and we noticed this when we went on our site visit. So when there's a construction area, they kind of drape this like nylon on the fences, so you don't see what's happening on the other side. It's like an opaque
Yep.
nylon. Anyways, on each panel, they manually went and put a happy face on every one of them. Like every 10 feet, there's a happy face to hopefully reverse whatever experience you're having
It
inside.
doesn't do anything.
It didn't do anything for Manny.
So HRE is about, what, an hour from the San
40,
Diego
40,
airport?
40, 45
45
minutes.
depending on traffic.
45 minutes.
Depending on traffic.
Depending
Well,
on
here's
traffic.
the thing. So I had a friend who lived near
So-
San Marcos and Escondido. Went to school 35 minutes in the morning, 45 at night. So it can't be an hour.
Yeah, it's not now. It's like 45 minutes.
Well, maybe with Melanie and Boo driving, it was an hour.
No.
What? I wasn't even with you to the airport. You can't blame me this time.
You were driving last time. Anyways, so it's north of San Diego, and it's in an industrial park area, which was perfect for us because on a Sunday, obviously, industrial parks are pretty much dead. And so we got there Friday, and we started our setup, and we had a skeleton crew there, and we had to lay out all the parking spots, use measurements, and to the passerby, they probably thought we didn't know what we were doing, but we actually had a pretty good plan.
Game plan.
And it worked out scarily so well that a big shout out to, I guess they were all San Diego region volunteers. I know Monica was not San
Orange
Diego.
County. She's
Orange County.
Orange Coast.
So Orange Coast, okay.
Yeah.
But there was at least the ones that came to help me with parking. Phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I just showed them one time where we were going to park the cars. So we put little pieces of tape on the floor and on the parking lot, and that's all they needed was just the one direction. And we got the cars in so fast that we were actually standing around waiting for the cars to come to us.
Yeah.
Because we parked them so well. So we parked about 35, maybe 40 cars inside, and then the rest we had outside. We picked some what we thought were cool-looking cars, cooler than the ones that you normally see on the inside, and then we had 120 some on the outside. It was a very good vibe. It was just us, obviously, in this whole parking area behind HRE, in front of HRE. HRE is huge. It's a factory, and HRE folks. Patrick and Alan, they gave everyone free reign to walk around and look at everything. So there wasn't tours because you just go exploring your own. And I was really surprised at how many people had never been there before that were local. I mean, they would get out of their cars inside the warehouse because we were parking cars inside a factory, look up, and they were like, oh, my God, this place is huge. And then they realized that on the shelves is wheels. All these shiny things that they're looking at are wheels.
Thousands of wheels.
Yeah, they were
millions of dollars worth of inventory.
Very impressed. So it was a great vibe. Shout out to Melanie. She did a great job organizing the logistics. Although I did have to correct her in her parking skills because she tried to help out. Because we tried to get the people parking inside an hour earlier, and then the idea being park everyone inside, and the people parking outside would show up. But our favorite PCA members, of course, always show up 1 to 2 hours earlier than they're supposed to. So we started having a long line of people parking outside waiting to be parked. So Melanie started parking them. And all the work we did laying out these lines.
I saw that correction in the morning.
Luckily, it was only 4 cars into the parking.
Yeah.
When I realized she wasn't parking within the lines, she was creating her own parking. So the volunteers caught it and reparked the people. And
that's the
Kugler,
thing.
our executive vice president, was there, and he was helping out with the outdoor parking.
We get into a location typically a day or two early, and we do. Here we don't have grass to count, but we do count the blades of grass to know exactly where we're going to position the cars, because the more time we spend on prepping how the car is going to be parked, have a vision for how things go, the day of the event, things just go much smoother. And this was clearly an example of how that happened. And we have the spacing right, so people, when they open their doors, are comfortable, or when they're walking through one of the main areas, that we leave enough room. Manny and Boggs kind of joined forces to talk about how cars should be positioned inside so that they would look the most beautiful for photos. We actually drove one of our rental cars in the facility so that we could get a better understanding, like how easy would it be to put a car in this spot. In some spots, just walking it, you think, oh, we can just drop a car within this row. But actually, if you were to drive it, there were some that we had to forego and say, no, we're not going to put a car there because it's going to take someone 20 tries to try to position a car. So all of that makes a difference when you've got crowds of cars coming in. You want efficient parking. You want beautiful parking. Shout out to Ilko, too, because he came out early to tape. Really, every nose of all the cars parked there had a spot so that it wasn't by happenstance that the cars were lined up really nicely and in perfect location. And as Manny said, the volunteers picked up on it right away, did a fantastic job. And the reward is hopefully you're watching it on YouTube, where you'll see it in future panorama features, and also on Instagram. We've got some gorgeous photos of the cars and of the people.
And a huge thank you to the folks from HRE who basically just left us alone in their factory on Saturday, and we just went to town measuring and taping everything. And there's people came on the day off, obviously, who were there. They were pretty much hanging out, waiting for us to finish so they could lock everything up. But yeah, they were. There was never something where they said, no, you can't park it there.
Yeah, no. Yeah. They pretty much rolled out the red carpet for us and gave us full access. And I think Manny recalls this too. Alan and Patrick, the executives at HRE, probably paid us the biggest compliment without even knowing it. They put together a Cars and Coffee like once a year, I believe, and it's a huge turnout. And so they know what it takes to organize all of this. And so when Alan and Patrick were telling their employees that PCA was going to come, their employees had no idea of what our capabilities, and they were actually kind of worried. They're like, is PCA going to be able to do this? And Alan and Patrick, they've been to our events. They know how methodical we are. They're like, oh, PCA's got it. And, at the end of the event, they both said our employees were so impressed because they weren't sure how this would go. And they said, the crowd, the management of parking the cars, the quality of the cars, and the quality of the people. They didn't have to worry about, people running around, doing things that they shouldn't be. I mean, they left everything open. And so that was the biggest compliment.
Somebody asked me, he goes, how do you get parked inside? I said, it's kind of like getting picked on what's it, Tinder? I was going to say Twitter. Tinder.
Swipe
right.
Send us your best photo. And
I said, just you put a good photo of your car, and odds are, if it looks good, then you're going to get in the pick to be in what the preferred section, the section we show off.
So you're telling me I need to post my car to Tinder?
if things aren't working, then yes, that may work. But yeah, it was.
So there were some beautiful cars, as you would expect. Some outlaw cars. There were 2 Carrera GTs with different colors. Of course, there were RWBs.
They were all wraps.
Singers.
Carrera GTs were wraps.
Those 2 were wraps. Like Golf Blue CGT was a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
So I wasn't there, obviously. Is it a distribution center, or do they do actual manufacturing? They do
manufacturing and distribution.
Yeah, because I know the wheels are made in California. That's their manufacturing place. So you actually got to have a look at the manufacturing.
They were running machines during the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
HRE's been doing that I remember before I started working at PCA, I went to the yearly show, I think in 2012 or 2013. They've been doing it for a long time, and they just let people walk in and do whatever.
Are they actually forging parts there, or are they just assembling?
No, so they get like pie plates that are forged, and then they're milling them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which a lot of people
it's
got
not
to
a hot factory.
No.
Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
It's just a ton of CNC machines. That are running.
Wow.
And that's what they say when you say custom wheels, because they're making them custom for your car, the offset and whatnot. It's
wow.
And they get behind the scenes. So we got there on Friday. We was right out there. He got there the day before, but Melanie, Bogdan, and I got there on Friday morning around 10:30 or more 11:30. By the time we got up to the HRE, then we got lunch and spent the whole rest of the day marking the outside spots.
Tape.
A lot of tape.
Measure.
And then re-pull up the tape because this didn't work, and re-put down tape. And anyway, so Saturday, we decided to take a little break, and we went to Cars and Coffee, which was very cool. And what was
it? Rancho Santa Fe.
Rancho Santa Fe. Yeah.
Beautiful area.
Well, I mean, I love the diversity, the turnout. You've got a bunch of 356s. Everything. And a bunch of E1 Cayennes.
Everything.
I love that.
The two things that notable changes that we did to ÜnStock this year was we offered corral parking, which I think was great for those of people that wanted to come to ÜnStock, but they had a pretty stock vehicle. There was, I would say, maybe 100 spaces? Maybe 100 spaces for corral?
Yeah, there was.
Something like that.
There was no parking issues
Yeah.
at all because there was so much. The whole business park is shut down
Yeah.
on Sunday, so there's tons of.
I love the
area.
way it's grown since the
Yeah.
first one. I mean, honestly, it looks like there are more food trucks at this one than there were cars at the first one. I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah, it was good. The other thing that we changed up is in the past we've sort of provided car placards on the front of it, and instead what we did was together with the hang tags for the participants, we included the ÜnStock decals, like really nice decals,
Yeah.
and they got them in white and in black, and it was so cool to see so many ÜnStock decals on the cars, and I think they'll stay for quite a time, and it'll be a thing. And the biggest surprise was this gentleman rolled up from Arizona, and he actually had ÜnStock for his license
Vanity
plate.
plate.
Nice.
I was like, "Oh, that's
Did
cool."
Did they give him the umlauts for the?
No, they didn't, but it was cool. There it is, right there from
He's got
Arizona.
to paint him one there.
Oh, that's
It's-
fantastic.
yeah. And his
That's
car
cool.
definitely was an ÜnStock
Well,
car.
the great thing is too, I've seen just in the photos. There's some cars that were at the first one. That olive green 964. I think.
Oh, there are people
Tom's
that were
car.
proud to say that they
Yeah.
went to all three.
Yeah.
No, that
Was there again?
964 you're talking about?
Yeah.
That wasn't the same one.
Oh, that wasn't. I thought that was.
I don't
Tom
think it
Curran?
was. In tracking it, there's not a whole lot of repeat because
Really?
we switched areas. Even though it's in LA or Southern LA, or you would think you would get a lot of repeat,
Yeah.
but you don't. It's like I was surprised how many people had not been to HRE.
Mm-hmm.
I was just assumed everyone had been to HRE
Nope.
since they're in the area, but that wasn't the case. A lot of them had not been to, especially with their big open house. So
Yeah.
I
So, I
think
mean-
that made HRE happy because they weren't getting people who had already been to their facility. They were
How far were people? I mean, I assume this was Orange County, LA County, San Diego.
This was
I mean,
San Diego County.
It was
just
mainly
North
San
County,
Diego.
San Diego.
No, I know, but I mean the people who showed
Oh,
up.
people came
Oh,
from
gotcha.
people
Yeah.
came down from LA for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I picked a couple of photos just to describe some of the more radical ÜnStock cars that were there. And here's I think it's a 964 with some green and orange highlights, a special speedster lid on it, decked out interior. That was pretty wild. There's a couple other ones. Oh, this one here, West Coast Customs.
Thank God they got that done before you showed up here.
So West Coast Customs, where we were at last year, they came to support us again, and they brought a 996 that they had an artist paint graffiti the car.
Oh wow, it's not a wrap.
No, that's
Wow.
the straight
Well,
on.
here's the
graffiti.
best part, Rob. Melody tells me, she goes, when we're looking at the map, like a couple days before we leave, she says, and this is where they're going to be they're going to be doing the graffiti. And I said, well, do you mean with like paint cans? And she says, yeah, we'll put it in the corner. I'm like, and for a minute, I'm trying to catch my breath because I'm thinking, you know how much overspray that can produce,
Yeah.
especially if it's a little bit windy.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we're going to put it in the corner. And I was like, because I remember the parade when I painted the interior of my race car.
Yeah.
You would have thought that I was committing a crime against humanity. And that was with the doors closed. We were inside just killing brain
Right.
cells. Here they're going to plan to do the whole car on the outside.
So thankfully
Luckily-
they didn't do that.
Yeah, she told me like the day before. She said they got the car done already, so they're not going to be graffiti.
I mean,
yet.
they got it done within hours because when they rolled it, when they
Wow.
opened the trailer for it, I mean, you could smell the paint was fresh.
Well,
It
I
was
mean,
very
let's
cool
face
look.
it too. In our world, the bar for crimes against humanity is pretty low.
Yes.
I mean, remember when I posted pictures of my kids eating Doritos? in
The
the
tough
back
thing
of-
about this is people think it's a wrap.
Yeah.
You would think
Yeah.
no one's going to actually paint their car. That's a wrap, but that was
That's a car that they purchased last year for
last
ÜnStock.
year. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
yeah. I think the artist didn't show up last time. We were
Right,
at
exactly,
Something
yeah.
came up that they had planned to do this last year at the event. So West Coast brought out 3 other cars.
Yep.
Wow, that is
Toyo
spectacular.
Tires, our official tire sponsor for ÜnStock, came out in full force. They brought their big transporter. They brought this wild-looking Spider that has been showcased at SEMA, and it's got I don't know what, I didn't get to see the power plant, but the interior is crazy, like crafted with tufted leather and
Is it electric?
no, it's gas or
Okay.
internal combustion.
I mean,
They brought 2 Overlander Cayennes, and they also brought 2 RWBs. One of which the RWB belongs to Brian Scott of Hoonigan, and Brian stayed there the whole day. I didn't.
Nice.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
I didn't realize he was there.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have
Yep.
liked to have met him.
Yep, he was there. He was hanging at the Toyo booth. People were walking up to him, getting photos. He owns not this black RWB, but the white one. For those of you that aren't familiar with RWB, that's Nakai-san, Rough World, Super. Kind of started the trend of flaring out, making.
There was 4 of them.
Yeah.
There was 3 air cooled, and then the 1997
Yep.
RWB.
would it be fair to say that they're slightly polarizing?
They are polarizing. I, for one, I like them in terms of like how crazy they are. I know people don't like them because they're cutting up good cars, but to each their own.
What's more polarizing, EVs or RWBs?
Ooh.
What do you think would get our members more worked up?
I think EVs.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think
I
EVs
think
are
you're
more
right.
polarizing.
I like the look of RWBs. Would I do it to my car?
Oh.
Probably not. If I won like Mega Millions and I had a lot of cars, I would definitely have an RWB in the collection.
So I like the mild RWBs because I love the reason why I have my turbo look is because I love the wide fenders.
Yeah.
And so when they make the fenders wide, like I like it, but I don't. I'm not. They have their.
I like that look.
Yeah.
I like that look a lot.
Yeah, I mean that because I also like a
reminds me of
GT2.
GT2, yeah.
Like I said, like my
Right.
favorite Porsche is a GT2.
The
so this
R-Star
is-
look.
Well,
This
that
is
is
like
not the craziest RWB that I've ever seen.
That is the middle one.
Yeah.
That's not the super wide.
Yeah.
The super wide one looks like steamrollers on the
Right.
back of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
But yeah. Anyways, that one's rocking a ÜnStock decal right there across the back lid. So that was just cool to see, And hopefully people will keep them on the cars. Of course, beautiful Singer was there.
Yeah.
The details of that car and the color looks very mild compared to an RWB. But I think when you look at these cars, this is the one that I didn't know, and this one actually there's 2 of them. Kega. Kega is
how do you pronounce it?
Kega is a brand. Dare I say, Singer-like? Like they're trying to.
Oh,
make
yeah.
it-
I mean, it's no,
they're making a name for themselves. They're out of Germany,
including the price.
including the price. I think what they're trying to do is offer these cars at a quicker turnaround.
Yeah, that's what they are.
Look at those! Look at those wheels, cookie cutter
Yes,
style.
cookie
Oh,
cutter
that is
inspired. That's
cool.
exactly. So we did the summary video, and I
Yeah,
said cookie
yeah.
cutter inspired wheels. How cool is that?
I like that.
Very
that is
cool,
pretty
right?
Yeah,
But that's
that
the
is
normally aspirated, the Targa.
The turbo one.
3.8, and then the turbo is right behind it, 3.6 turbo.
The
Yeah.
turbo behind is actually the one that won.
And they're
Best
based
of
on
Show.
993 chassis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't win best of. That's Scotto's.
No, that's not
No.
Scotto's.
No, it's
That
not.
one's actually like a pearl. You can't. It's hard to see,
So
but
this-
that's the RWB. And
This
pearl.
guy, we were having dinner on Saturday night, and he texts me, and he says, "Hey, yeah, is there any room? I'd like to bring my car." And we just had a cancellation on the inside.
Yeah.
So I said, "Well, send me a photo of your car." And as soon as he sent that, I showed it to Vu. I'm like, "We're going to put this car
Yeah,
inside."
as soon as Manny told me that car was coming, I knew exactly where I was going to place it. I knew exactly where I was
Don't
gonna
expect to
place
get inside at the last minute. But, yeah, if you have a special car, odds are we'll find a cool
it. Next
spot for you.
photo, the Carrera GT that was wrapped, rocking HRE wheels. We've seen that car at a SEMA as well. Very cool looking, like baby blue Carrera GT.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yep. Now this one here is a
Strosek?
car. Yeah, so
I was
this,
just,
this
honestly, I
car.
was just going to invoke like Strosek and Gambala saying that, I think RWB cars are going to age a lot better than the
This
wild
car
cars
here,
of our youth.
For those of you that weren't looking at hot rodded, 993s, 964s
Yeah, I
back in
still
the
can't.
90s, Strosek and Anziano bad boys, I think they were out of Southern
Yeah.
California. These conversions where they made these fenders with little, like
The
almost
little
like whale.
naked mole rat headlights.
That-
Yeah.
I remember.
I can't.
I remember seeing those and going, man, only the rich can
If they
have
don't
something
total
like
your
that.
BMW out, you should do that to your BMW.
I should do the Strosek headlights.
Strosek.
Yeah, no, that's yeah.
Yeah, very cool to see it out there. That was also wide bodied and hard top, and cool to see that they're around. Because when was the last time you saw a Strosek?
In person, I don't know if I've ever.
Yeah,
maybe I've seen.
There
them
were
in
a lot
person,
of them
but
back in the
maybe
day.
Not.
I don't know what happened to
That's
all
not
of
the
them.
one that went to jail or got. Oh, that was Gambella, wasn't it?
Gambala,
Gambala,
yeah,
yeah.
Gambala, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
had,
Did he get killed or did he go to jail?
He
or-
did.
I should have gone to jail
He didn't
just
go
for
to
the
jail, but he got
cars,
killed.
but I think it was
Yeah.
for something else.
yeah, something else
I'm
about.
sure there'll be a Netflix movie about him soon.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stories actually. There was I could be wrong, but there was South Africa mob connections.
It's
and,
definitely Netflix waiting to happen.
Yeah.
potentially money laundering.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Hey, Robert,
right.
can you pull up the photo of the like fighter pilot? It's a red 911 with the seats front to back.
I told
Here
him,
you
I
go.
told him that
this
Rob's
one
going to put
wins
this on the cover.
between this one and the 914 that looked kind of like a DeLorean. Those two cars win the most modified cars.
What am I looking at here?
I would pick the.
Is it
I
like
think
the canopy.
Let's have Rob describe it since he wasn't there. What are we looking at, Rob?
We're looking at like what I guess the Italians would call a monoposto 911, a single seat 911 with what appears to be
not a single
It's
seat.
a
not a single
two-seater.
seat, it's a two-seater.
Like a fighter.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
actually
If you
two
look,
seats.
it's got the,
okay, so it's
wow.
like an F-14.
Yes.
So you've got like the pilot and the radar intercept or the Rio guy behind him.
Yep.
And literally a backseat driver.
Yeah.
Right.
It almost looks like the rear wing.
No,
like
no,
they,
wait,
they
is-
found a V10 era Formula One
Yeah.
wing and
Is
just stuck it on
is
the back.
the rear seat guy open? Does the canopy just cover the pilot?
Not that
That's
I
not even a
never saw
canopy.
anything.
It's only a windshield.
It's on the
It
windshield.
doesn't
It's
go
only-
over
okay,
the
okay,
pilot.
so it's not like okay.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
It
crazy.
is San Diego. You don't need a cover for that.
So
Yeah.
you
Windows too
could
nice.
like mount a like a 50 caliber machine gun.
I
on
would
the
love
rear
to.
seat or
I would
something.
love to do a 1 mile review of that.
That would be
That
pretty
would be
sweet.
crazy.
Do you have? Are there any other photos of it? I mean, I got to get a profile of this thing.
There's quite a few. I mean, it definitely was an attention grabbing car.
Wow.
What's the license plate? Y2K rod,
Yeah.
or it looks like one of the
Y2K,
dive plane
yeah.
That's
supports
that's
is
a-
covering something up.
That's
but-
incredible.
Pretty wild. Man, did you see the DeLorean looking 914? Did you get a close look
parked
at
it.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. That looked like
That
a
was
lot
incredible
of
metalwork.
Yeah, a lot of incredible.
It had some kind of American V8 in it.
Oh, that's
Sounded
crazy.
great.
You know what? I don't.
I've seen that before.
I don't
have?
It's been
dislike
around
that
for a
at
while.
all.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I've seen
Wow.
that before.
It looks
It's
like been
really well done,
clear-coated.
Rob.
It's
Rob, it's like someone
That's
knows
impressive.
knows their
Yeah.
work in metalwork.
That's really impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly,
it was so wide too.
it's like a Ferrari Testarossa meets like a Chalon 914.
That car would have been for if we had like a ultimate ÜnStock
Yeah.
award. I think that car would have been a contender just because of I can just see the thousands of hours.
That still wasn't my favorite though.
That's really impressive.
Which one was your favorite?
The
The
electric
Targa, the electric
no,
Targa,
the electric. Yeah.
the electric Targa.
I told everyone. I said, I would love to have the guy. I'm going to see if I can. I think it'd be a Tech Tactics episode because he's not selling a kit or anything. He's just a guy who decided to
Do it himself.
Obviously, he knows what he's doing, but he do-it-yourself electric 911 that he transposed a Tesla motor with Tesla batteries.
Yeah,
So it has the capability to be a regen, and he came from Arizona, was it, or
I'm not
New
sure.
Mexico or something?
So it's a G body
Maybe
Targa
Texas?
with like roof bumpers, and it looks ÜnStock just from the outside alone. But then when you lift the hood, it's like all electric.
There's nothing telling you it's electric.
Yeah.
If you see it coming at you.
Yeah,
If you look from the bottom, you see this like compartment where the muffler would be.
Yeah.
And that's where the motor is. But it's very stock looking, and even the gauges, he had them redone so they would give information that an electric car would have.
but they look stock.
Yeah,
Wow.
200-mile range.
And he did he did
That's
like a
impressive.
987. He took interior parts from a 987 because he needed
An
like
automatic
a
987,
Tiptronic.
yeah.
He needed a shifter, so he grafted some of that. He did a really good job. Again, it's super impressive.
I mean,
that
you open
he
up
did
the
it
front
himself.
trunk, and it looks like a spaghetti maze of wiring. But yeah, the guy knows his stuff. It was
You'll see it in the recap video.
the funny thing. He was like the second car to come into the what I call the warehouse building,
Yeah.
where they didn't have any manufacturing. They just had racks and racks of wheels. And he was only the second car. And he goes, man, I hope people come over here.
Yeah.
I'd love to show them my car. And 2 hours later, when I walked by, there was tons of people
Oh, yeah.
around his car. Every time I walked by, there was tons of people around his
Always
car.
a crowd.
Right.
Asking questions. Because, of course, people say, well, if he can do it, I could probably do this.
No, you can't. But I mean, that's so impressive. I mean, the difference between people who can change parts and people who can fabricate
Yeah.
is incredible. So, wow, that is
Yes, that was
Amazing.
actually going to be featured in our video that we filmed.
Yeah, look for that soon. If
yeah.
you're listening to the podcast now, we're hoping that this week the video will be out. hopefully by tomorrow.
So thanks again to HRE, all of our sponsors, all that came out. It was also very nice to see people, mention Panorama, the podcast, take pictures with us because a lot of people knew about my heart condition and wished me well and all that stuff. So it was great to be together with everyone. I know we have something new that's going to roll out, but before I talk about that, maybe we'll throw up the newsletters and encourage folks, if you aren't already signed up for eBrake News, Mark Fresh News, and Performance News, head over to PCA.org and sign up there. Again, if this is the first time you're listening, if you would like a PCA or a Porsche Club Insider decal, just throw us a comment down below and send a note to podcast@pca.org, and we'll make sure we get a set out to you. And, of course, always like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us with the algorithm and just gets our word out there. So, speaking of new things that will be coming out soon, Rob, there's this little site that you and Robert and some of the crew here at HQ work so hard on.
Rennbow. Honestly, can you believe that the site is going on 5 years old?
Is that right?
June of 2019.
Wow.
So, June of 24, it's 5 years. So,
2019 was that long ago?
yeah. Yes, sad to say, but yeah. So it was due for a pretty significant.
Robert,
refresh.
what did the front of the website say? I went by too quick.
Go back, Robert.
So you can go back. The color of a car is more about aesthetics.
The color of a car is...
So for those listening or watching, it's the first time I'm seeing this too.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you don't let the colorblind guy give input, so.
Well, of course. You're a technical advisor to it. So, but it's, the user interface is all new. There's more of a focus on how it renders on mobile devices this time around. It loads a lot faster. The search functions are more robust. There's a better image upload system to it. You can allow people to edit their images a lot like you do on Instagram.
I think the database is up to about almost 14,000.
14,000 images, 700 colors.
Nice.
And it grows by probably 5 or 6 images every day. It really is pretty amazing. The amount of traffic that it gets is impressive. And there's a tie-in now with the Mart. So if there is, speed yellow car on the Mart, and you happen to be looking at speed yellow in Rennbow, well, it'll serve up all the speed yellow cars for sale on the Mart. So lots of really significant and cool upgrades to it. Thank you very much, Robert Forsyth, for all the hard work, and on to the Mart next.
And Michael too. Michael, our newest one of our newest team members. He's also
yep.
keyed in all the details for this.
So yeah, everybody is I think justifiably proud.
We're gonna get asked this question. What is the rarest color?
I don't think there is one rarest color, but from every generation of car, we can point to colors that are kind of
75 with 5 paint cans.
Mythical. Lido Gold is an early.
We saw that at the Works this year.
911 color. Yeah, there was a Lido Gold car, but that is a super, super rare color. Murano Green.
Caramel Brown. I've never heard of that.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's a 3.2 Carrera color.
What color do you see that as? Do you see that as caramel?
I probably would have thought it was salmon or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mainly because I wouldn't think anybody would make a color of my favorite candy.
Favorite candy.
But, Maraschino Red, the 944 color. I've never seen one of those. Reseda Green, the 924 color.
We should have a contest and see in 1 year who can have their picture taken next to the most 5-bucket paint cars.
Oh.
Right? Or, honestly, when I win the lottery, I think just an entire collection of nothing but 5 paint cans.
I think this contest will be quicker than we win the lottery.
Yeah. But, yeah, I love that. Reseda Green. It's a 1-year-only 924 color that came from, you might see an Audi Fox.
Is that a little goldish? Because it looks gold to me.
Yeah,
greenish gold.
It's it's a lot like Peridot, the later color. But, there were 924 colors remain the Audi colors. And that's a color that you might see in an Audi Fox, in the mid-'70s.
So if I had a paint to sample allocation, I would go straight to the 5 paint can color chart here and probably pick one from there.
Yeah. Summer yellow.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's I think 87 and maybe 88 only color. It was I think the first real yellow that Porsche offered in about 10 years or so.
Wow.
And
Do you remember Bill Caldwell and Mary Hill? At the First Settlers, they had one in summer yellow in SC. Yeah, beautiful Concours.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the early 70s color light yellow that you'd see on a lot of 27 RSs. But
When's this going live?
in the next week or so.
I think we're still getting like the final sign off for it, right?
Yeah, still getting the final sign off. We're doing a few tweaks here and there, but yeah, no,
It's a great place to visit. Just if like, especially if you're, getting ready to order a car, and like I said, if you have a chance to possibly have a paint a sample, you go here and man,
Yeah, just geek
imagination
out
can
for
go
hours
crazy.
with it. The one thing that we did save from the previous iteration was the color chip page, which is basically all the colors displayed in sort of an infinite scroll, and that obviously was designed to look like the color brochures that Porsche
Right.
offered back in the day.
Very cool. And of course, this is optimized now for, when people look up Porsche colors, Rennbow kind of gets served up first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the SEO, that was one other improvement that Robert made. It was doing really well from a search engine optimization standpoint previously, but now it's
Should be even better.
It's going to be next level. So you should have no trouble finding images of colors that you're looking for. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking to do a PTS car, this is where I'd go first.
You know what I saw, and this is
Before we get off the topic,
Yeah.
do we all have a favorite color? We've never talked about that around the table.
Favorite color? Oh man, Viper Green's probably my favorite color.
I think I like the original color that Club Blau was based on. Before they
Was that
darkened
acid
it.
or Mexico?
Acid blue.
Acid.
No. So the original color that Club Blau is based on is Voodoo Blue.
No, acid blue.
Voodoo Blue.
100%, my friend. You had a stent put in. You forgot this.
I'm pretty sure it's a
I
shade
am
darker than.
100%. I will bet my car acid blue.
I'm so glad I asked
I'm
this
pretty
question.
sure it was Voodoo Blue.
No, you like voodoo blue, but it's acid blue.
All right, let's call Boris later.
Well,
We will get the results of
probably
this in the
pull it
next
up on
podcast.
PCA.org.
Just text him now.
I'm pretty sure it was Voodoo
I mean,
Blue.
it's
A shade darker than Voodoo Blue.
So
right,
for
what about
me,
you,
I'm
David?
just going to go.
What's
I
your
love
favorite?
Club Blau, but since that's so predictable. But I'll say Club Blau, Aero Blue, Voodoo Blue, all those that sort of
Yeah,
shade. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
I should say Club Blau since I'm the one who named the name
Yeah,
Club
right.
Blau.
I'm going to bring this up to see if it's. I'm pretty sure it's acid blue as well, but I'm not going to. Let's see.
I'd be curious for those of you that are listening, what's your favorite color? Take a look at Rennbow or just share with us your favorite color.
Aero blue or Mexico blue.
Aero blue.
Continental orange is good.
I saw Albert Blue this weekend, and Albert Blue's really nice too.
It is.
It all
Yeah.
depends too on the car that it's on.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, Porsche's always done blues really well. Even the metallics, like
And I
the
think-
Boxster, Zenith blue,
Yeah.
nice color.
I think blues also
But that
don't
Valley
they,
blue
they
we
don't they
saw-
don't go in and out of favor like other colors. Like
Yeah.
like Ruby Star. I think Ruby Star is in favor right now, but there will be a time where Ruby Star is not because it's just so like polarizing.
Right.
But blues always are in style.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could talk for hours about some of the most polarizing colors they've ever done. Cassis red.
Yeah, Cassis Red is kind of along the lines of Ruby Star, where it's just
Yeah.
Right now it's super cool, but I don't know how long
Yeah,
that stays.
no,
Like the
Matt
browns.
Farah is a big fan of Cassis
What about
red.
the browns?
Some of the browns are really good. Rosewood is a metallic brown. I had
Yeah.
a Rosewood 911 SC. It's a
Sounds
it's a
like
nice
a
color.
cologne.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna
Like
gift
a,
him
like a
some
cheap
Rosewood.
cologne. But no, I mean some of the browns. I mean sepia for a long time. The only thing people would do with a sepia brown car is paint it guards red, and now people are appreciating that color.
I just saw on Instagram a sepia brown 992 GT3.
Ooh.
It was
Wow.
PTS. Somebody they must have just came out of the factory because one of the accounts I follow, they must work for Porsche because anything unusual they'll post and.
I think that's a very polarizing color. Someone
Yeah.
will either really love it
Or really
people
dislike
really
it.
don't want it.
But
Yeah.
I mean, is brown. Bitter chocolate was another brown that is a little bit more reddish brown. That is really actually, I think, pretty handsome on a mid-year 911.
All right, so let's talk about some a video that was dropped recently. Was the M491 that you got to drive?
Yep, it was an '83 Carrera Cabriolet Turbo Look. It was owned by Porsche's Porsche AG's CEO who started in 1981, I believe, Peter Schutz. So he's the guy who came in, realized that Porsche was going to be axing the 911 and replacing it with the 928 in a few years, and he said, no, we're going to keep building the 911, and the 911 Carrera 3.2, which was sold from 84 to 89, was the car that he saved. And so this 1983 version is a pre-production model, and I had a feeling his daughter Lori is a big-time club member, and I was wondering if she'd watch the video. And she did. She commented. She emailed. And in comments, you'll see she says that he spec'd out any car that he ordered from Porsche. He spec'd it out himself. So he chose all these options. The probably wasn't called Alcantara back then, but the faux suede on the dashboard was. I don't think I've ever really seen that all that much or at all on Carrera 3.2s. The M491 wide body, the full leather interior. So it was also painted so Porsche said it was painted in silver rose metallic, which was only the 944 Turbo S,
right? Yeah.
Which came several years later.
Yeah.
Lori said it was painted actually something else. So I'm not sure if Porsche has it right or wrong.
That does not look like silver rose metallic because I don't see the hint of rose in it. That looks more like the
Gray?
No, it's like a bronze.
Yeah, not having a
it's not
Silver Rose
platinum.
944 Turbo S right next to us, I was not able, but I trusted Porsche, and let's see, I'm going to bring up the video comments real quick just to see what Lori said.
It's interesting. If you go back, for people new to the Porsche brand or fairly new, you got to go back to 1983 because this is the first year that Porsche has a convertible 911. I know they've been around forever now, so everyone thinks they've been making them all along, but it took until 1983 before they had a cabriolet. And this is after generations of 356s that were all cabriolets. There was a long time that the Targa was as good as you could get for open-air driving. So in 83, they come out with the SC, a single-year cabriolet, and then from that point on, they continue building these cabriolets. So this car had to have really stuck out at the time because you just didn't see a convertible 911.
And it would have been an SC Cabriolet.
SC
it wouldn't have been a
83.
Carrera, and
Yep.
it wouldn't have
But
been a
this is
wide body.
This is a pre-production you drove, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
pre-production, but later, the 84 to 89, you couldn't get the SC cab in a while. I don't even think you can get a turbo look on a
That was
coupe
till
SC, right?
85, was it? Or when was the first
84
year?
was
84.
84 in the U.S. or
I think coupes
I
and
think
cabriolets were different.
I think worldwide. I don't. That's a good question. I'd have to look.
Yeah, but
I definitely know they were in '84. They had turbo looks.
yeah. So I just looked up the email. So what Lori is saying, and I'm inclined to believe her, since she knows the car so well. But rose quartz metallic is what she said the color is. So it's either silver rose, like Porsche said, or rose quartz metallic. Overall, I drove this immediately after a 911S Targa in 1971, which is another 1 mile review that we have on YouTube.
what time were you driving for the town?
It's like
Like
6
Sunday
a.m.
morning?
I was gonna
6:30.
say, it reminds me of that scene from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang when the guy, the villain's coming through and everyone goes inside and hides.
Yeah,
There's
we
like no one around.
Our
well, you
tour
can see the
left.
sun's pretty low.
Our tour left at 8, so we were meeting at 7:30, 7:45 in the courtyard outside the hotel. So we had to get it done early. But yeah, it was an amazing drive. It got super. I thought I was kind of. If you're watching YouTube, the sun was literally like just over the horizon, and there was fog everywhere, and I couldn't see.
You're in a priceless car.
But in a priceless car, and I
Yeah.
stayed on the road, fortunately.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to drive, the 71, which had the old style
911.
tires,
Yeah.
new compound, but old style tires with old treads. And probably, I don't think they had, no rear anti-roll bar or no front anti-roll bar on those older cars, or you could option it, I believe. So it leaned a lot. The engine, it's really tough to beat, a high revving 2.2 liter 911S engine, so I'd probably say I kind of preferred the engine in that car more. But
that was the last year, the dog leg, the 901 gearbox too,
last
right?
year the dog leg, which was interesting. But you hop into the SE or the Carrera Cab Turbo look, and it just feels like, even though it's same bones basically, very very similar chassis, that they didn't do a lot to the bones of those cars. It feels way newer, like more solid. It doesn't lean as much. It feels like a more modern car.
Yeah, it's so much smoother.
Yeah, smoother.
Motronic versus carbs.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's 71 to 83, so 12 years. And yeah, they changed a lot on the 911.
Yeah. What was this? Was it 71 a T? What was it?
It was an S.
Okay, so it was an MFI car.
Yes,
Yeah,
MFI.
okay.
Yep.
All right, Manny, let's get into the news. You're up.
Which one do you want to cover first?
IMSA.
I think we had two IMSA stories.
Was it the Westbrook?
So, yeah, Richard Westbrook moving from Cadillac to Porsche. JDC Miller. For those who don't know who Richard Westbrook is, phenomenal driver. I heard his name first when he was driving for the Carrera Cup in Britain, Great Britain, their series, and he just dominated. Then he went to Super Cup, dominated there, and then from there his career was like set in sports car racing. So it's pretty cool to hear he's going to be driving for JDC Miller, who did pretty well for a customer car team that entered. Especially when we asked the drivers at Rennsport, the Penske drivers, if they share any information, and they were like, absolutely not. They're a competitor. They're another team. We're not going to give them any information. A little taken aback. I thought all the Porsche teams shared information. So, that's pretty cool. That's to see JDC Miller picking up someone like Richard Westbrook. So that'll be fun to watch at the 24 Hours of Daytona.
Head to I'm going to plug our YouTube channel. We have a quick video on the JDC Miller car that we took at Rennsport if you want to find out a little bit more about that team.
Very good. And then there's an update to a Porsche badge.
Yes, the how do you pronounce it? Turbo
Night.
Turbo Night. Yes, it's, having a turbo is not special enough. Now Porsche is changing the crest, and this is going to be for all their turbo models. Of course, turbo meaning top of the line, not just.
Oh, look, they used the Honda Civic's dashboard, the Honda Civic's dashboard with the holes, the grating.
I'm sure that's somewhere in the literature too that they
Honda Civic inspires
borrowed from Honda.
Oh, you mean the bars?
Yeah, was it the bars? If you look, so
red?
if you're not looking on YouTube, Porsche has a new crest. There's no color to it. It's just shades of gray basically, and where there's usually the orange/red and gold stripes. And gold stripes. Now the red is black and the gold is just this
Honeycomb.
Sort of honeycomb grading, and it looks exactly like what you'd find in a new Honda Civic.
That's also been on a lot of other Porsches too. That's
what's in my mind.
It's only in your minds because your girlfriend's car, her dash has it.
And all the YouTube videos I've watched. I mean, I love that dashboard.
I don't think they were thinking of Honda when they put that in there.
I know.
So, anyways, it'll make turbo owners feel even more exclusive than they already are. Of course, I will wait for the Chinese market to put it on eBay, and I'll buy one for my 964.
Well, I think people have been modifying their badges on their car for quite some time. Like you could have gotten one that's I think it's John D'Angelo or someone that has like a red, white, and blue kind of version.
I got one on my Boxer that looks like the old one, has the orange.
Oh, you have one? Oh, okay, yeah.
This Turbo Night badge would look good on my Arctic Silver Cayman. Actually,
it would. Actually, it would look very good.
Yeah.
It's crazy to just do stuff to make you want to spend more money.
Well, I mean, you got to make the turbo buyers
It's not like they're Apple.
feel like they're.
Exactly.
So anyway, Turbo Night. Remember that name,
Turbo
Night.
Carbonite,
Turbonite.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Since we finished the second to last major event for PCA at ÜnStock, that's only one more really that's left, and that's Treffen at Sea, December 9th. Hopefully you're joining us. You'd be a couple of 800 plus people, PCA members that are going to be on board. The schedule went out, and all the different seminars that we're having is going to be an amazing time. We have Nathan Mers, we have Rod Emery, we have let's see who else. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Not sure.
I'm
I
drawing
haven't
a
looked
blank
at that list yet.
But Lee Giannone is going to be there. who else? Oh, from.
Does anybody ever actually go to these seminars?
They do. They do
Because if you get the drink package, you're getting 16 drinks a day. A
16
day.
drinks
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah.
So
Not-
you go to the seminar one day, you won't remember it. Go the next day.
I did the math, and that's pretty much every waking hour. Once an hour, you can get a drink.
Is that based on double occupancy, or is that 16
No, per
Single,
person.
per
Per
person. Per
person.
person. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. So the other
If
two.
you're not an alcoholic when you're bored,
you will be.
Wow.
The other two that can be presenting is Ramsey Potts, who is super energetic, and also Kelly Telfer is going to be on board showing people how to paint Porsches. So tons of stuff to do. They actually do. I mean, again, for me, going to the beach is fun for the first 15 minutes. So having
are
Porsche
the people
content.
painting sober?
Yeah,
Because if they aren't, that may make some good video.
I would think so. I'll let you know. We'll be filming and taking photos.
12 drinks in, we're going to
Yeah.
start painting.
And if you're deciding whether or not to go, they did just release, I think it's like an 800 or 899 room. It's an inside room, but still, I've seen them. They're still very nice. You're very hardly ever in the room other than to
That's what I
sleep.
was asking,
Yeah.
Boo. How many people actually...
You
How much time do you spend on
you
the
don't.
balcony?
You don't even stay in your room for that matter. There's so much stuff going on. So it doesn't even matter. So if you're thinking about it, there's a couple of rooms left. Join us. I know we're over 100 cars that have been registered for the Concours at Sea.
What?
Yeah.
Concours at Sea?
Concours at Sea.
Well, it's diecast concrete.
Diecast.
Okay, all right.
Diecast Concours. Yes. So, all right. We are well over at the top of the hour. Anything else before we sign off, gentlemen? All good? All right. Thanks for listening. If you aren't currently a PCA member, own a Porsche, grab that VIN, head over to PCA.org. We'll set you up. If you're looking for your Porsche, we have the test drive program. Again, just head over and we'll open some access for some resources to help you find the right Porsche for your driveway. Remember to follow the podcast Instagram page, see behind-the-scenes photos and videos, Porsche Club Insider, all one word. Or you can always send us a message at podcast@pca.org. Always love it when you give us a like, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you down the road.